Welcome to Inspired Coach Podcast. It is so wonderful to have you here on the Coach's Couch with me. I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up. Today's episode might go for 3 minutes. It might go for 30 minutes. It might go for 33 minutes. I'm not quite sure. But it's one of those somewhat spontaneous ones that has just really come to me that I want to talk to you about today. A really important but simple and I hope potent and powerful message for you. And again, it all just might come tumbling out really quite quickly and we be done with each other really fast. And if that's the case, well then it'll be a wonderful listen on the way to pick up the kids from school or when you're out for a brief walk or you're cooking dinner. Could be anything. Whatever it might be for you, I hope that if this is a message that you need to receive today, that you receive it with love and also that it acts as some kind of positive activation for you. I want to talk to you from the couch today about what I think is the number one most powerful and impactful thing that you need to do if you are currently feeling very unhappy, dissatisfied, and even isolated, lonely, and despondent about your life and career. Even just your life or your career. Either of those things or those things combined together. And if that's you, I want to send you a big virtual hug because I've been there. I think many of us have at some point in time or another when things have just not been feeling great for us. We feel as though we're capable of so much more. We want so much more. We feel we could be so much more for ourselves. And it's creating lots of emotions and thoughts and feelings that are adding up to us being unhappy and dissatisfied. And of course, if you were to ask many different people, whether they were amazing, brilliant self-help folks or coaches, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, anyone that has an amazing capacity to help people, they would potentially give you a different number one thing to do than what I'm about to suggest if that happens to be you and where you're at with your life right now. This is not a binary thing. It could be many things, but here's what I think is the number one thing that's most impactful and powerful that you can do if you find yourself in that situation, and that is this. Stop lying to yourself or minimizing, denying, and downplaying that this is your reality. Now, if this is your reality, you might be someone who is not doing that at the moment. And if that's the case, yay you, if you're fully embracing of the fact that you know things are not great and you're on the path to doing something actively about that, amazing. That's what you can ask of yourself. That is absolutely what you can ask of yourself if you have your own back, right? You're aware of it. You're not minimizing it. You're not brushing it aside. You're not denying it. And you're in action to do something to change. That's having your own back. That's great. But I know that there are many people for a lot of different reasons that have, good validity that are in this position where you're unhappy with your life and or your career, and you are lying to yourself. Not necessarily in big ways, it might just be in little ways or medium ways about the reality of that. And that can come forth in a lot of different ways through things like brushing it aside, telling yourself that it's not that bad, saying that you have no other choice, that this is just the way that it is for you. And just also sometimes pinning it on many, many other things other than you're unhappy. It's like, oh, well, it's just me, or this is my boss, or you're externalizing it in varying different ways, placing it outside of you and not actually grounding into the truth of the feelings and emotions and thoughts that are coming up for you. And that is being and getting yourself to a place of acceptance, even if it's just for a few minutes, that I'm unhappy and I don't want to be unhappy. I want to feel alive and thriving and flourishing in who I am as a human being and what I want to do with my life and how I want to make money and how I want to serve and how I want to show up in the world. That's where real change begins, when we stop lying to ourselves or minimizing or denying that the reality of things, the reality of how awful something really does feel for us. And I am the last person in the world that is ever going to say that something really simplistic and silly like, well, just get a new job, or just tell your boss to go, F off, or, whatever. Nothing like that. I mean, there's all sorts of, I know you know what I mean, right? From the couch today, I know you know what I mean when I say that. It's like, it's not that simple. There can be lots and lots of different reasons why our current life status is the way that it is, why we are in the role or the job that we are, why it may be necessary for us to have to remain there, and a lot of other things besides. However, that does not mean that there are not positive, impactful, meaningful things that you can do to shift the unhappiness and dissatisfaction that you're feeling about your life and career. When we think about things in very binaried, boxed in black and white ways, we can think that, well, if I don't completely choose this or do this, or completely choose the other way, that means there's no point making any choice and I can't do anything. And that is so often the sort of thinking that keeps us very, very stuck. Instead of actually opening up to the thought and feeling and idea and even catalyst that there could be a lot of other choices for me here. But for you or for someone to even be open to thinking about what those choices might look like, you have to stop minimizing things for yourself and go, okay, life is not working for me right now. My career is not working for me right now. And I am no longer willing to lie to myself about that, or minimize that, or not be honest with both myself and other people that I love and are important to me when they ask me how I am and how work is. Instead of going, yep, it's fine. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. Yes, I'm good. I'm not going to lie about those things anymore. I'm actually going to get honest with myself, because this is when we begin to heal. That is the opening of when more things become possible for us, and we can start to go, okay, this is it. This is where I'm at. This is not where I want to be. And now I'm asking for help, and of myself and maybe of others as well. And I'm going to open up into what that might look like for me. Now, I know that this is not easy, especially when the reality of being unhappy in life and career can bring up lots of challenging thoughts and feelings for us, as I've already discussed. But here's the thing. Those thoughts and feelings, even though you might not necessarily want to be having them, are not actually a sign that, and of course, each situation is different. I need to remember that. We all need to remember that, and each person is different. But it's not necessarily an absolutely cataclysmic, awful sign that things are super, super bad in your life, even though I appreciate it might feel like that. And it certainly doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. If you choose to, you can actually see this as an incredible opening and opportunity and potential for you, that you are being sent through these unhappy thoughts and feelings, signals and signs, that you are being called into something richer, deeper, and more meaningful for yourself. And there is the distinct potential that you would not make that happen for yourself, and I know that you can, if you weren't having those feelings in the first place. So many people, and maybe you've been there too, I know I have, and I've seen many other people in this position, do not actually make hugely positive changes in their lives and careers, relationships, and other things as well, until things reach a point where the friction and the tension and the unhappiness and the not okayness of their reality reaches a point where they're like, I am done with this. I no longer want to feel this way. I no longer want to turn up to this job that is just leeching me of my soul and happiness and purpose. I am done with this. I am going to create something new for myself. Yes, there are certainly people that make leaps and changes from places of feeling at that time fully resourced and ready and great. Absolutely. But there are also many, many people that make decisions from that place, the place that I have been talking about in this episode. And something that comes up at this time, often as well, when we're feeling dissatisfied in these places in our lives, is fear. And that can also keep us stuck. I know you know, right? But here's how I've come to see fear in my life, and changing my relationship with fear completely changed the trajectory of my life. And this is something that I have openly shared with many, many people before. Fear is a companion for all of us for life. It is a part of our ego and inner critic exercising its job, its protective mechanism of, making sure that we are okay. And so when we're reaching for something, when we're taking a step up, when we're wanting to initiate change, we want to go for a big goal, or we want to create something amazing for ourselves, this is often the time that fear arises to basically say to us, are you sure? I'm not so sure about that. I don't know whether you can. I don't know whether you've got the chops for this. What if this happens? Protection, right? And ultimately, in the end, and this is a whole other episode and topic, your desire for what you want has to be bigger than your fear to keep you in action. And one of the best ways that I know how to do that is to reframe when fear comes to you as an extraordinary love tap. That it is not a sign for you to stop, for you to play small, for you to pull back when it's sending you messages like that, because of course you've got the chops. Of course you do. You have to be the one that shows yourself that, but of course you do. I believe that. If you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, do I? Yes, you do. I know you do. And you can be the one that shows yourself that. But when fear comes to us in this way, if you can learn to see it as a love tap, as like, right, okay, you're here because I'm on the precipice of something really important, something that is really meaningful to me. Because we don't feel fear about anything that is not those things. If it wasn't big, if it wasn't desirous, if it wasn't something incredible that we wanted, well, we wouldn't be afraid. We wouldn't feel fear. And so when those thoughts come to me now, and yes, they still do come when I'm taking leaps of faith, I absolutely now see them as a love tap. It's like, okay, amazing. Wow, you're here, right? I'm starting to have these thoughts of pulling back, of being afraid. That tells me this is really important to me. That tells me this matters. That tells me I need to keep going. Thanks for the reminder. Thanks for being with me and showing me that this really matters to me and that I should keep going and moving in the direction that I'm being called in. Changed everything for me. Absolutely everything, because it doesn't matter how many amazing things you might have achieved in your life and whether you've done fearful things, whether you've done courageous things before, you will experience fear like this again. I have many times. All people do. There's no such thing as being fearless. We can't be fearless. That is an Insta quote gone wrong, right? It's a companion for life. And so if you are unhappy and dissatisfied in your life and career, when you do develop some awareness and acceptance of that, and you stop minimizing it and you stop lying to yourself about it or denying it, just to throw salt on that, fear will come. Because it will be natural for you to shift into a place of going, once you're no longer in denial or you accept that reality, well, what am I going to do? What do I do next about this reality for me of not being where I want to be? And so just know that fear, when it comes, and it likely will, is not a reason to stop and not a reason to hold back, but instead to understand it's going to come. You can see it as a portal and an opening and a love tap to keep going. That's my little message for you today. I just wanted to share that with you. And yes, this is in part because I have had a number of experiences recently with people, clients, and also people that I love in my closer inner world as well, that have really been minimizing their life and career reality for themselves. And it has opened up conversations for us about, well, until you accept the reality of this and get real about it and stop denying it for yourself, it won't change. And I've then seen it be the absolute catalyst for positive change in people's lives. It's like, okay, this is it for me. This is where I begin to shift this after I accept the fullness of the fact that I don't want things to be like this for me anymore. And so if you've needed this message today, I see you, and I hope that this is really helpful for you. If you're a coach, then you probably have had a not dissimilar conversation with one or many of your clients, no matter what sort of niche and clients and area you work in. And so I see you with that too. And if you are genuinely someone who is in that position right now and thinking to yourself, I do not want to turn up to work on Monday ongoing in the way that I am, please know that I'm not saying to you to quit, because that could be really dangerous and just totally the wrong thing for you to do. But to know that you can create a different reality for yourself with small, meaningful steps in different directions and explorations and adventures and curiosities from yourself, from the place that you're at, if you accept and no longer deny or lie to yourself that and this is your reality. And to know as well, as I mentioned before, that many people have to make and do make changes in their lives and their careers from places where they don't feel amazing. And that the steps that they take turn things around for them and begin to help them feel amazing. So many people that I know that have stepped in to study with us at the Beautiful You Life Coaching course have felt that. You know, on our welcome call, the first one for us this year, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks' time, there is still time to join us to start your own heart-centered career as a life coach if it's calling you. When we welcome them on the welcome call, they go, you know what? Things were not fantastic for me recently, but I haven't even studied yet. But just the fact that I'm here, everything is already beginning to change for me. I feel so much more positive about my future. I am excited for what's ahead. I finally feel like I've found and am exploring and studying and expanding curiously and with an open heart and a beginner's mind into something that I know is right for me. And more than one person has said, this started for me when I stopped lying to myself about the fact that everything was okay. When in fact it was not okay. Thank you for joining me on the Coach's Couch. If you're called, as I mentioned just before, we're finishing up enrollments for our 2026 Beautiful You Internationally Certified Life Coaching course really soon. If you think that your next best step might be with us, please know that we welcome you with open arms to study to become a coach with us, however you might be right now. You do not have to feel fully resourced. You do not have to be in an amazing, amazing place in your life where everything is swinging and going great. You can be doing this from a place of, you know what? I just need something different. I need to explore something else for myself. I need to open myself up into something new and exciting, and I want to do it with incredible people, which, believe me when I tell you, we certainly have in this community. Big love to you, out to the world from the coach's couch. I wish you all the very best with, if this is you right now, reaching a point of acceptance and understanding that it's okay to not be okay, and that once you honor that, everything can change from there.